this little video. These pins just don't like, they do not like the mud and wet. They are not a big fan of the mud and the wet. There I go, got the line up on that one. But what I was having problems with the Desert Lizard shocks on this truck, no matter how I tuned them, I was getting too much, suspension travel. I needed to limit the suspension travel. We'll get up here and finish. It was becoming one of those situations on this truck that the Desert Lizard shocks worked extremely well for articulation, but they were just letting me have way too much travel in the rear. So, and I want to see if these shocks work better here. Like I said, I got the pin springs in. Well, I don't. The fella I got the truck off of, he has the pin springs in him. And there's a spot right here, which I can't believe it's staying on this wood, because this wood is soaking wet. It is wet. Man, nothing sticks to that slick wood usually when it's really wet like that. So, we're going to see. I was getting a little more lift with the Desert Lizards right here. Let's see if it'll. Still lifting that front tire some, but I'm in a bind. That's my fault. That's where I'm at the angle. You kind of got to come up into this just about right here. There. And I'm not getting the lift off now with the stock shocks and the pin springs in it. So this is working maybe a hair bit better in some situations here with the stock shocks on it with the pin springs. What this thing needs, according to UGRC, this chassis was more designed for like 85mm shocks. So I considered getting a set of the Vanquish, but if I'm gonna do that, I figured, yeah, it's more planted right there. I figured if I'm gonna do that, then I might as well just spend the money out and get 85mm draft techs if I'm gonna buy shocks for it. Well, let's see how she does right here. Yeah. And that is a little better than what I had, but the only problem is with the Desert Lizards, that tire would be down on that rock. I had that much more suspension travel. So I think the chopper's coming in. The chopper in the background, we got a medical chopper coming in. But the weight transfer seems to be working better on this. And you guys hear the chopper in the background. Like I said, it's a medical chopper, I think, coming in. Yeah, it's giving me a little more. Giving me a little more on. And I'm still getting plenty of suspension travel. I've been trying to use the rule of a friend, Eric. I think he watches the channel. Come on, see if I can get the pull itself off of that. There we go. He was telling me that a rule of thumb, and that was my shitty driving right there. Reset. So, a rule of thumb is like basically the size tire underneath you're wanting to travel. So if you want if you have like a 4.75 tire, then try to get a 4.7. You know what I mean? You don't want that much more flex than what your tire size is, basically. So I'm gonna try this harder peak on this one. Definitely does seem to be getting a little better. Yeah, it's smoother. I didn't really lose that much articulation on it, about where I probably want to be. But there's a harder line right here. We're going to reset, and I'm going to run that harder line. All right, we're going to see if we can get on. Yeah, this is a little bit of a harder, because there's a hole right here. You got to be at a certain line to get it to kick back over. And I think I'm going to get on it. Now, I had a little more trouble getting on it and staying on that line with the Desert Lizard shocks right there on this truck. Yeah, we got good weight transfer. Working pretty well, truthfully. We're going to go ahead and see how she does right here. Make sure she doesn't want to do, because there's an endo. You got to be careful. You'll get lift up right there. See if it stays planted down. Yeah. Oh, that's a little smoother. I think we're gonna stop it right there, and we're gonna film from down at the bottom. All right, we'll shoot it coming up. I think I've got myself set pretty good. There's a hole, and then I'm a little lower with this shock setup here. I think I've got myself set on that line pretty well. Yeah. And that's actually a little smoother than it was with the Desert Lizzies on it, so the rocks are thick with water. Alright, we'll see if we can get this pull up here as well. Just figured I'd get a little content filming for the channel, because the weather's been terrible. I couldn't go out and it's just been torrential downpours from the hurricanes and rain and stuff. Prayers go out to my homies that has all the issues. One of the guys' tree fell on his house, man. That was hardcore. He had pictures on his Facebook. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get up this. This shit is slick. This is that slate rock. It's just like glass. So let's try this again. All right, so we got some murder bees of death. Some giant ones over here in this tree. We got to be careful. And there's a line. You kind of got to be on this. There's that giant murder bee of death. I don't know if the camera picked it up or not. It's right there. I don't know what kind of bee that is. I can't see it in the camera. Thing's huge. I think it's like a European hornet or something. We have these in West Virginia now. Now there's a certain spot you got to be on. Come on. Like I said, these tires work good on rock and dry. Man, I don't think they're the best trail tire if you're going to be trailing these pins. They're more of a performance. You know, they love the rock and the dry wood. There we go. Well, that made that pull up a little easier than I think it did with the Desert Lizard shocks. So, and there's a tight turn in right here. Let me stop the camera and go. Okay, so there's a tight turn in right here. If I can get on it, we'll see how it pulls it better. If it does better with these shocks than it did with the Desert Lizard shocks. If it pulls this easier, then I'm definitely keeping this setup. Sorry if I'm shaking. It's my hand's going to sleep trying to film this and drive. Nope. But she hung there. That was a pretty good save. Let's reset this. I haven't knocked the truck. I come too far over. You got to ride this one peak. If these were dry, it probably would have stayed right there, but it's wet, so there we go. That's where I wanted to be, hanging to the outside of it. There's just a certain line you got to be on this one right here. I don't know if I can get myself out of that. Try this again here. It's hard to do filming a lot harder to do filming. Get myself back into position here. And the rocks are moving around. I need to put some concrete down in this shit. So this is where the desert lizards was suffering the most, in this spot. There we go. A little better than the desert lizards was doing, because that extra flex was really killing me here. It was letting my back end unload too much. And guys, this is a hard line to get on right there. That's the hard line. Oh yeah, rode it down nice. Okay, we're gonna try our pull up here on our pipe dream. And I don't want to get too much mud packed up on these stupid tires, because it's really muddy right here. And these tires do not like the mud. See if I can get myself right up on the pipe on that one. Put me in the right position where I need to be. We'll get it set. Okay, we're going to come down here for a different angle. Now let's see if I can do this. Filming might look kind of sketchy. I don't know, because I'm going to pay attention to the truck more. And see if it'll get this pipe. Now that I got mud on the tires. So I want to take time to thank everybody that subscribed and watching the channel still. Thank you guys. Your patronage is super appreciated here on RC Dungeon. I'm gonna have to probably stand up here to keep you guys in frame. Alright. Now it's slipping off because it's wet and muddy. Slipped off right there. So let's reset. Let's try a reset one more time here. I don't think it's going to get up. It's too wet. So pipe's not going to be doable. Let's go down to the bottom. Alright, so let's get on ape shit climb with some extremely muddy tires on wet, slick wood. Definitely the tires are working better than they were yesterday, but we were actually in the rain yesterday trying to play. Because the only time you come out here and play is when the rain has the bees at bay. I actually think this shock setup is working a little better than the desert lizards. Definitely worked better right there. So probably end up staying with this. Okay, so I wasn't paying attention there. There we go. I was driving from the camera, and that's a big no-no. I gotta quit doing that. So, like I was saying before, I appreciate everybody that's watching. Hope everybody's enjoying the content from the channel. We're going to be doing some live. I get up here a little closer. We're going to be doing some live stuff with Steven's 304 RC for you guys. I'm going to make this pull up right here. We're going to go up the hard side. Go up high. Go up high. See how these work. See how these shocks perform right here. And I just peeled off my grip tape. Alright, so gonna have to do something else other than the grip tape on some of those pieces. But this is the area that I was wanting to see. She is not, that link riser is helping in the back quite a bit. I put on the back of this thing. Yeah, that wood is so slick and wet, man. I am not getting the 3-wheel motion that I was getting with the link riser and the desert lizard shocks. She is staying way more planted. There was some issues here with this truck and my buddy's truck yesterday. And I had no struggle right there at all. It just made that pull up. Yeah, I think these shocks will be staying on this truck. Probably in this configuration. They're definitely doing a little better than the Desert Lizzies on this platform. And we're gonna go up high. I may have to reset the camera here. You can see how high up this bridge is. Alright, so we'll see how she descends coming down this. I was worried about the spring setup pushing it too much from the back. But this truck is working really well today here. So this shit is slick, guys. It'll probably just bobsled down this, and I hope not, because I can't grab it. Because this stuff is like glass. These wood slats. We're at about a 70. That's about close to a 70 degree right there. 67 degrees. And then it goes down that 70 right there. Trying to hold the camera flat so you can see how steep it is. So, and I'm not going I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and stop, because it's nothing but nasty mud down there, and it's red clay stuff, and I don't want to get the tires packed all nasty. So the spring setup in the back, it's not really pushing me off as much as what I was afraid it was going to. She's staying pretty planted. So that ain't bad. Now I'm going to have to stop there because I'm not getting in that nasty mud. Alright, so it worked pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright. Yeah, I kind of wanted to work on getting this thing dialed in a little more, because I think we're going to be making a trip to the pit crawl zone around St. Albans, West Virginia. And I'm going to do some filming on their indoor course for the channel. I need to get a hold of the guy and talk to him. And just get you guys some, you know, crawling stuff, indoor comp course stuff. I just wanted to get this thing set up here, dialed in as I could, because this is the truck I'm going to take this in my Ascent. And then maybe if my daughter wants to go, her Gen 8 kills this entire course up here for her Gen 8, man. That thing works fantabulous too. This is the harder line I was talking about here. I'm going to see if it'll ride it. It rode it with the Desert Lizard shocks. Oh, yeah. Boy, it's working really well. I can't really complain. We're almost to the peak. We're almost to the peak. See if it'll drop down. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised these tires are doing this in the wet. I mean, that's pretty impressive. They did not want to work too well yesterday in the wet. It's a little maybe drier today, less mud. I don't got the tires packed up in mud. So what I was saying, I appreciate everybody that watches and likes and comments. I just appreciate everybody that's actually watching the channel. I really do, guys. Yeah, this thing's way smoother right there. It didn't lift up on that tight corner piece. So we're going to try up our pull up right here. Yeah, she's looking pretty good there. I like it. Shocks are working. I think these shocks might stay on this truck. I was just getting way too much suspension travel. And it was letting my front end just unload with the Desert Lizards in full droop. Now, I probably could have just sprung the Desert Lizard shocks, but I just went ahead and put these up on here. I changed the oil out to 10 weight oil in the shocks too, just to loosen them up a little bit. I did put some lighter shock oil in them. And that's all I changed on them from where he had the pin springs. But I know people A lot of people kind of crap on the pin spring mod, but I'm sorry the camera's moving around. I don't have it on my gimbal. Let's see if I can get it to slide down. We didn't groove in, so I don't know here. There we grooved in. Oh yeah, and this is pretty phenomenal for wet, slick wood, guys. This stuff is like, there's no traction on that at all. I'm gonna have to try it out here in the dry, but man, it's killing it out here in the wet. So I think I got a little more performance tuning the stock shocks on this thing with they're more like a 85 millimeter shock now with the pin spring in them, and you're still getting that pull down to keep keep everything down low, and it's got about a perfect down low stance now, so I can't complain about this thing. It is working a lot better now, so I'm going to shut the camera off here. I'm going to, well, flip the camera around. What I was saying is, guys, I do super appreciate you guys that are watching the channel still. It means a lot to me, you guys viewing. I know we started that more adult segment on the Real RC Talk. Hopefully everybody's enjoying that, just to conclude everything here. I really do appreciate everybody that watches. Thank you to all my viewers. Don't forget to stop by and check out 304 RC on Facebook. We got a good group of dudes. It's a no bullshit, no hassle type group. So if you're chilled, laid back, and just like sharing RC stuff and ideas, you're not gonna, we got several good admins in there. There's me, Chris Snyder, Bobby, and Brad Stevens. He's in there from Stevens 304 RC. Don't forget to stop and check out his stuff. Most of our link performance type content is he's just been filming that stuff because I try to focus on more scale stuff on the channel. I mean, I know I do both, but I prefer scale stuff. But I mean, I like it all, but I do prefer scale. So I'm gonna, hopefully, guys, the weather clears up a little bit and I get a little more time, I'll get some scale videos posted up for everybody. But not to save this from being any longer, from the RC Dungeon and Shelby from the Dog Pound. Peace.